Hey everyone, Val here.
And Steve.
And we have another No Tag Tuesday. Yay!
Woohoo!
And this tag comes from Jay and Michelle over at The Average Jay. So, thank you for the questions. And how was your vacation? They went to Disney.
Oh yeah?
They were supposed to go on a cruise, but Michelle got the COVID. And then she was recovered, but I guess she didn't meet the qualifications of the cruise line or something. Those cruise lines, they have some weird rules. So, that's why we're not cruising right now. Anyway.
Probably won't ever cruise again the way it looks.
Possibly. I don't know. We will see. But we do have a tag. So let's see what kind of questions Jay came up with. I tried not to read them, but I read the first two. But I wanted it kind of be a surprise. So when I was printing them out, I actually did look at the first two questions. But, alright, so everybody that does a tag is in the description box below. Go and support their channels. See what their answers were. It's a lot of fun. We have fun with this. So, let's get started. This is the max tag. The max tag.
Okay.
Alright, number one. What is the tallest building you've ever been in?
That's true.
I used to work in a building in Norfolk that was 24 floors. And I did, often go all the way up to the top, but that's not, 24 floors isn't big. I do remember staying in a hotel in Chicago one time that was pretty tall. Now, are you talking about the tallest building you've ever been in or the tallest floor you've ever been on in the building? Because I don't know what floor I was on, but it seems like I was over the 30th floor for some reason. I don't really like tall buildings.
Oh, it's hard for me to say.
Never been in like Statue of Liberty or anything?
No.
My mom went in the Statue of Liberty.
Never been in the Statue of Liberty. Probably the tallest thing I've ever been in was that lookout tower at King's Dominion.
I don't know that one. I've never been in that.
It looks like a small Eiffel Tower. That's probably the tallest thing I've ever been in.
Yeah.
As far as building wise, as far as I can remember.
Speak up too. Make sure they can hear you.
Probably the building, that little Eiffel Tower thingy at King's Dominion. That's probably the tallest thing I've ever been in, to the very top.
All right. Question number 2. What's the deepest you've ever been underwater? I like this question.
80 feet.
80?
Yeah.
I thought it was 70.
I thought we went down 80.
I was a little over 70, I think. Maybe 75, 80. Somewhere in there. But you got to remember, we're certified divers. And we do recreational diving. We don't really go much deeper than that. So, yeah, that would be at 75 to 80 foot. Somewhere in that range. Number 3. What's the longest amount of time you have ever driven without stopping? Such as in a car, as a driver, or not a passenger. Oh, as a driver, not a passenger. You have to stop to get gas, though. So the longest trip I've ever made without spending the night was 13 hours. I believe that was the longest one. What we used to do from base down in North Carolina when I was at Camp Lejeune, we used to go from base to northern New York, and that was 17 hours. And we would do that in one trip, but we would switch off drivers. So we were in the car the whole time, but we weren't driving the whole time.
Probably 8 hours.
Mine was 13. When I drove to Chicago, back 10, 15 years ago, something, I drove to Chicago. It was a very long drive. So it was like probably 12 and a half to 13 hours straight through without stopping. I mean, stopping to get gas, and
It's probably
that's it.
8 hours for me, but I don't know that I could do.
I couldn't do 13 anymore.
Nowadays, I get to 4 hours, I need to stop. So,
Yeah. Well, not overnight, though.
well, I need to stop and get gas. And
Well, but I think that they're just saying straight through without getting a hotel or something.
we're going straight to Savannah. From the house to Savannah.
Yeah, but that's only like 8 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Question number 4. What's the most windy weather experience you've ever seen? Mine probably is Hurricane Elizabeth. That was pretty harsh. We were out of power like 12 days or something, I think, with Hurricane Elizabeth. And I had a tree that it was like came down, like my roof was here, and it came down like this, and it was just barely not touching my roof, but very scary because it could have fallen at any time, and we couldn't get somebody to come and cut the tree down because there were other people that the trees had fallen on their roofs, and they were taking care of those people first. So it was very scary, and it was right over my son's bedroom. So he wasn't allowed to sleep in the bedroom just in case the tree came down on the roof. Do you remember that? Back when, like, we were dating but we weren't married.
The insurance wouldn't pay for it because it wasn't on the house.
Right. I think that was the worst storm I'd ever been in. What about you?
I don't remember. To be honest with you, I can't tell you.
Hurricanes, blizzards.
A tornado that one year they went through Colonial Heights, but
But we had that blizzard of 77 up in northern New York where the snow covered the cars. I mean, the cars were stranded in the streets.
Getting ahead of yourself.
Oh. Oh, no, I thought that was a weather experience.
Windy weather.
Oh, windy weather. Oh, I'm sorry, Jay. I messed that one up. All right, we'll go to the next one. You don't remember?
Most snow the most snow you have ever seen was when I was a kid, and it was probably the same year that you had your blizzard.
77.
Yeah, probably the same year.
Yeah. So we had cars stranded in the middle of the roads, and the snow was over top of the cars. They had to have bucket trucks come and scoop the snow out. I do remember that. It was like up to the eaves of our house and stuff. It was kind of a little freaky. Number 6. What's the most cash you've ever held in your hand?
$1,000.
I don't know. I don't really deal in cash too much as far as cash. I'm trying to remember any time that I was ever paid in cash or
Ever pay for something?
paid for something in cash.
$1,000 for me.
I didn't never buy anything in cash. I always used a check or a debit card. Maybe a work transaction. I think that there was a couple $1,000s that someone gave me in cash for a work transaction that I told him not to bring the cash anymore because I didn't want to deal in cash.
So that was
But-
the most cash we ever held in your hand.
Probably a couple $1,000s. Question number 7. What's the fastest speed you'd ever gone in a car? Can be a driver or a passenger.
126.
Really? What were you doing?
Chasing somebody down the road.
Oh, that's right. That was a police car. 126.
Yeah.
When I was younger, in my 20s, I used to have a little 280Z. And I had a radar detector in the car. And I did race somebody one time. But maybe about 80, 90, maybe. That was as brave as I got because I didn't want to get arrested. So maybe around 80 or 90. Question number 8. What's the fastest you've ever walked or ran in a single session? The farthest. What is the farthest you've ever walked?
Say how fast it was.
How fast what was?
When you were in your 280ZX, you didn't say how fast you were going. You just said you raced somebody.
Were you paying attention?
Did you say how fast you were going?
Yeah.
In the 80s, 90s?
80s and maybe 80, 90, somewhere in there.
Okay.
He wasn't paying attention. He has a habit of not listening when I speak. He has this auto-tune out.
I did hear it then, because I said 80s or 90s, so I heard something.
All right. What's the farthest you've ever walked or ran in a single session?
That's easy, 5 miles.
No. I don't believe it. He was in the military. We did 25-mile marches. I don't believe you've only walked or ran 5 miles at one time.
I've ran 5 miles in a single session.
It says walked or ran.
I don't know how far it was from the barracks out to ICT. That was a forced march. I don't know how far it was.
Probably 25 miles. We did 25-mile marches.
I don't know.
In the Marines.
I don't know how far it was, so I can't say how far.
Probably, I would think if we did, we're a support service. We did 25 miles. I bet he did at least 25 miles, or 20 to 25 miles. Number 9. What's the most expensive restaurant you've ever dined at?
That probably would be the Ruth Chris Steakhouse.
Yeah, I would agree. Awesome food and service.
Used to be. I don't know what's like.
Yeah, we haven't been there in a while. We actually had a gift certificate from one of my bosses way back when I worked somewhere else that gave us the gift certificate to the restaurant because of some work I did. So we enjoyed it. And 10, what's the largest predator you've ever seen in the wild, not in a zoo? The largest predator. In the wild. Where have we been in the wild? We've been to Belize. We saw a tarantula, but that's not like the largest in the wild. Where else have we been in the wild? Except for underwater. I mean, we've seen manta rays and sharks, like sand sharks.
The manta ray is the largest thing I've ever seen underwater.
Underwater.
In Cozumel. Is a bear considered a predator?
We've seen, bears are pet predators.
Black bears?
Yeah, we've both seen black bears.
I mean, that would be the largest for me.
I think you're right. Because there was a black bear on my way coming home from work, like 4 months ago or something, on the side of the road. And then when we were going down Interstate 85 one time, a black bear ran in front of our car. But it was more like a young bear, like not a cub, but like mid-sized bear. So yeah, that would probably be the biggest predator that we've seen in the wild. I haven't well, we've seen foxes and deer and stuff. Deer's not really a predator though.
Coyotes are predators.
Coyotes, coy dogs, probably the bear. Alright, so we got the tallest building, deepest underwater, driven in a car. Did we miss any of them?
I don't think so.
Nope, we got them all. So thank you for the questions, Jay and Michelle, and thank y'all for watching. Check out the channels in the description box below. Let me know how you answered the questions, and Buzzsaw and Dar, you're tagged because you're not doing these tags. So I'm tagging you at the end of all of them. You're tagged. And Leah, you're tagged. Alright, I'm going to forward you these questions, and I want to see a tag on your channel. So, catch y'all later. Bye.